You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be reviewing / trying to make any damn sense of Tim Drake Robin number 8, written by Megan Fitzmartin, art by Nicola Czmozisia, which I think I nailed right there. And if you read last issue of Tim Drake Robin, you know, or maybe you don't know, there was a debate. Did Tim Drake actually walk away from a burning restaurant with innocent people still inside? The debate was, well, I think that it might have been phobia doing something and we weren't really seeing what was actually happening. And then I said, no, I think the building was on fire. And Megan Fitzmartin is a nonsense writer. At the end, everybody threw up their hands because there was no real way to prove either or, because in the book itself, it was so ambiguously stupid that you couldn't make heads or tails of what was really going on. So we all, whatever. But the biggest problem is that there was actually a debate about this, especially the fact that the debate is, did Tim Drake actually walk away to leave people to burn to death? That is nonsense. But this whole thing has been nonsense. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of people haven't quite enjoyed this Tim Drake Robin run by Megan Fitzmartin, which might be the understatement of the century. But everybody has their own reasons for liking and disliking something. And who am I to say who's right or wrong? But for me, it's just been the awful writing. The awful writing from issue number 1. And it just kept continuing on. Things would happen out of nowhere. They'd happen just because there's barely a setup to anything going on. And so since the beginning, this book has been frustratingly bad. Now, I was hoping that this issue, maybe will end with a bang, because this whole thing is ending in June, thank God. And yeah, maybe it's the optimist in me. But maybe we can end on a high note. And really, the low bar that's set for this, it shouldn't be that hard. Megan Fitzmartin seemingly can't jump over that low bar, at least in this issue. This issue is a team-up issue with Batwoman. But from the start, again, it's utter nonsense. While Tim is working on his boat with Darcy / Sparrow and Bernard, and waxing poetic about boat life, because, Tim Drake. Suddenly, Batwoman falls out of the sky, and there's a mystery afoot. Now, if you think that the mystery is, how and why did Batwoman just fall out of the sky, you would be wrong. That gets pushed aside immediately to deal with the blood on Kate's gloves, and the fact that while she's been out and about for the past month, she can't remember anything since saving Harley Quinn about a month ago. Again, though, what was going on that nobody is talking about her falling out of the sky onto Tim Drake's boat? But, hey, I did like a little bit of how Megan Fitzmartin tried to tie in Batwoman's various recent appearances, though. That is something that I would always be behind. A couple books going on, especially the Harley deal. And that did happen, except I have to be a little bit of a comic book nerd nitpicker here. You end up having Batwoman say that she broke Harley out of Arkham Asylum. It was actually Blackgate Prison. But really, if that was the only thing wrong in this issue, I would have been so happy, because I've talked at length, I even mentioned it already, about Fitzmartin's lack of any sort of story setup, and how because of that, things just seem to happen out of thin air, and that happens multiple times in this issue. They end up, and the big thing is, oh my God, there's blood on Kate's gloves. So Tim takes the gloves, he puts it into the microwave / blood analyzer. They kind of see that it's not Kate's blood, and then they send that to the GCPD, or at least cross-reference to the GCPD database, but it comes up nothing. There is no match in the GCPD database to the blood that is on Kate's gloves. Now, why they're not hooked up to the back computer, I don't know, but they're at a dead end. So what are you going to do? Well, if you're Megan Fitzmartin, you're just going to force shit in. At the end of this scene, Tim says to Kate, maybe we'll have to go and report this to the GCPD, and he winks at her. Now, we could debate what this might mean, but to me, it kind of felt like, yeah, let's go to the GCPD. He's winking because I think they want to break into the GCPD to see if they can find some clues or information. The problem is we already got the information. The blood came up as no match. So why are you even mentioning that? You're only doing it so that you can have Kate, Sparrow, and Tim go to the GCPD without any real reason to do so. Now, before they do that, though, you have a weird play, and this made me giggle. And I want people to, if you read this, let me know what you thought. But it does look like Kate, Sparrow, and Tim, they jump on their motorcycles, and then it seems like they're riding on water. And you could say, well, the art's a little wonky there, but there's actually dialogue to support that. They're there, and Sparrow says to Tim, oh, this is why you end up waterproofing the motorcycle's engines. I don't know if Megan Fitzmartin thinks that if you waterproof something, then suddenly it can ride on water, but that's not how things work. Again, this is a book where Tim ended up solving a bit of problems by throwing up on something, so I guess all bets are off, but they head down to the GCPD. Again, there's no clues they're chasing. There's no real reason in my mind to go to the GCPD, but they're going to do that anyway. And when we get there, oh my God, the GCPD is under attack by chaos monsters. Now, you end up getting Detective Williams, who always shows up in these situations because that's Tim's connection. He ends up there. He's under fire. It looks like maybe some of the cops have already been shot. There might be casualties, all this going on. And Tim's like, what's going on with the chaos monsters? Detective Williams says, oh, the chaos monsters, we couldn't keep them in jail because their charges didn't stick. First off, they're chaos monsters. Second, nobody probably even knows what they're talking about. Now, you should if you've been following all of the Tim Drake stuff, but there's no editor's note to let you know. There's no real dialogue to tell you exactly. These chaos monsters are from the Batman Urban Legends book from 2 years ago. That was the setup, the beginning of Tim Drake and Bernard's big story. That was the deal. Bernard ended up getting kidnapped by a cult with these chaos monsters, all this nonsense going on, and Tim was able to save Bernard, and now they're a couple. The thing is, where Williams is saying the charges won't stick. What, charges of murder and kidnapping? I mean, seriously, and you're never going to get any real information there. This is just the fudge way to have these chaos monsters back, and I don't know why. They weren't good then. They're not good here. They just end up fighting the GCPD, and you end up Tim, Batwoman, and Sparrow stumbled upon this. Now, somehow, in this, Batwoman jumps to a conclusion that the chaos monsters, I mean, it doesn't even feel like she's questioning things. She is dead set on, these are the things that ended up stealing my memories. That's it. Case closed. But we have to find the leader. Now, while that's going on, Tim is desperately telling Kate, don't go over there. But she's not listening. She's going to go find the person who's controlling these chaos monsters, who they say is always going to be somebody who looks normal, doesn't look like a chaos monster, is just dressed normally. And thank God they seemingly see a guy down the road on a roof. I like to call him Mustache McGee. He's there. He must be the one controlling him. So Kate takes off, even though Tim's like, please don't go. Now, at this point, it looks like Sparrow is being overtaken by at least 3 chaos monsters. Then about 2 panels later, she doesn't seem like she has anybody near her. And then the next page, she's stabbed and is dying. This progression is so awful, and it is the art involved as well. I can't really figure out what was going on, but when you do see Sparrow being overwhelmed by 3 chaos monsters, Tim leaves her to go chase Kate for no reason at all. I mean, Batwoman, pretty good superhero. Sparrow, while I love her, not as good as, say, Batwoman. And Sparrow has 3 chaos monsters on her. Batwoman's just going off to confront a guy, Mustache McGee. I believe that maybe Tim should have helped Sparrow, and he didn't. And I blame him for her getting stabbed. And by the end, Detective Williams actually says, I don't think she's going to make it. So again, Tim is the worst in this book. He really is the worst, but he does give chase to Kate. Kate is going, I guess, to try to find out what happened to her memories, even though there was no connection to that and these chaos monsters. But hey, they do get to the rooftop where Mustache McGee is. And when they show up, he says, I'm glad you got my message. What message? They didn't get a message. They ended up just deciding to go downtown to the GCPD and stumble. When they get there and the chaos monsters are attacking the GCPD, they actually go, whoa, what's going on here? And so there was no message. That makes no sense, but it's just to play the idea that Kate says, oh, what, you mean me? And then Mustache McGee says, no, I mean him, meaning Tim Drake Robin. Then he punches Batwoman in the face and then chokes her out and then says to Tim Drake, thank you for coming here. This woman here is a child killer. What the hell is going on? I mean, just the idea that that's the cliffhanger, as if Megan Fitzmartin thinks that we would, oh my God, that woman's a child killer. Now, just think of how ridiculous this is. First off, it's ridiculous just at that. But add to the point that the guy who was controlling the chaos monsters who are killing cops and doing all this mayhem, he's there almost saying, well, I'm doing the good thing by trying to find this woman who killed kids, and I sent you a message, but there was no message. And by the way, cool motorbikes that ride on the water, nothing makes sense of this. Nothing makes sense in any of this issue. It is a wreck. It's a wreck. And yeah, by the end, it looks like Sparrow might die. Thanks a lot, Tim Drake. I want to once again bring up the point that I keep arguing anytime I review this book. And here's the thing. A lot of people will tell me why they didn't start reading the book. And it usually comes down to Tim's sexuality changing. He's now bisexual. I'm not going to read anything. That's fine. Again, I'm not here to tell people they should do or not do whatever. But that's why you didn't start reading the book. If you did read it, I think everybody would agree with me that this book is a wreck. This book, besides the idea that the art has been really iffy throughout, really starting with Riley Rossimo, the idea that Tim is bisexual, if Tim was straight, this book would still suck. This book sucks. It doesn't matter sexuality at all. It's an awful book. And that's why if I could snap my fingers and make Tim straight in this book, the book would still fail. It is an epic fail of awful plotting, pacing, setup, character progression, and any other thing that you could throw in that would make something good writing. Anything, if you look up the dictionary of good writing, you will not see this book or Megan Fitzmartin's picture there. You won't. It's so bad. And again, I sit here and when I'm done talking about it and reviewing it here, my mind is spinning because I don't even know if what was coming out of my mouth was even making sense. This book is so bad. And that's why I'm giving it what I still think is a generous 3 out of 10. I really think I'm being nice, giving it a 3 out of 10. But hey, maybe I'm a nice guy. I don't know. But again, this book's writing is completely awful, but that's it. Hey, everybody, we'll be back next time with issue number 9 and see, oh my goodness, could it be any worse? We'll see. I think it might be able to, do just as bad as all the others. I've not seen any hint that there's any sort of good writing coming from Megan Fitzmartin. So there you go. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Again, let me know what you think of this book, series in general, all of that in the comments below. But I'm going to get out of here and I don't know. I feel like I might just pass out. So, hey, everybody, talk to you later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird Science is the